You're probably wondering how I got here and what the life is like in a day of subsistence. Well, today we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the trials, the difficulties, the rewards, and just the overall day-to-day drag.
If you are interested in acquiring any of my Overkill's tutorial guides for Microsoft Flight Simulator, please consider joining me on Patreon. Patreon subscribers level tier 2 and above have access to all of my guides, as well as any future updates and future guides that will be coming down the road. Link to Patreon can be found in the description below.
So first off, what is subsistence? We've talked about this before, but a lot of you have forgotten all about me as it's been a while since I've been able to post given the tumultuous and just difficult times that lay out here in this wilderness. Subsistence is probably the hardest survival series that you'll ever experience. Incredibly hard grind, very, very difficult to progress in this particular day-to-day. But very, very rewarding. Let's talk about some of the things that we have to do on the day-to-day here in Subsistence. As we walk around, you can see that I've made quite a life for myself. You can see our neighbors out there who are less than friendly, that is for sure. They like to come over and try to steal our things from time to time. As beautiful as a Christmas tree is, even that is a luxury that we must very carefully watch, as electricity is very, very difficult to come by and requires months and months of planning, resource gathering, building, and waiting. You will find that waiting is something that you do quite frequently in Subsistence, so it is not for the impatient-minded, that is for sure. As you can see, our electricity just sort of drabs on and slowly enters in the world. And then we have to worry about the blue line down there called mass. Mass is what allows us to build a particular item, and it is spent each time that we do so. And unfortunately, you only recover 100 of it on its own. After that, you must sacrifice something like here. We are sacrificing electricity. Very small amount of mass for a very large amount of electrical power. Now, the good news is that with mass, there is no item that requires more than 400 to build. So there's storage room there. So, it's not that it's impossible to get, but it can be rather tiresome and, again, very monotonous. The beautiful thing about Subsistence, though, is that it is very gratifying. Once you finally get to that next level of adequacy and excellence and success that Subsistence does have to offer, you feel very rewarded because it took a very long time to likely get to where you are. Everything from harvesting our own vegetables, to raising our own chickens. Just like anything else, it requires a ton of babysitting, monitoring, and making sure that everyone is healthy. Constantly checking water levels and food levels, and having to go out and gather new resources as things decay, and unfortunately don't hold very long. However, with that being said, there are quite a lot of qualities of life that you can find yourself enjoying. Something as simple as a distillery, making that old Friday night whiskey to help just let go of the week every now and then. To cooking very delicious and heartfelt meals that just make the day feel like it was all worth it. Nothing says home like a good home-cooked meal. Now, as far as living, well, we don't ask for much when it comes to a sleeping arrangement. It's better than sleeping on the ground. A nice metal bed with some fur and feather-built mattresses. Again, help put the day to ease. Although you will find yourself finding visitors outside of your home that are probably less than welcome. And every now and then we must do what must be done and do some hunting. And this is where things get a bit messy. But that's, again, the life of being out here on your own in the wilderness with no escape, as this place, unfortunately, is a prison. There are fencing all around. The hunters are exactly what they sound like. They are hunting us. So you want to keep your distance. But unfortunately, there are times where you are forced to engage with them, as they have very, very handy resources that can be rather difficult to achieve without engaging with them. Now, one of the most recent developments that this prison holder, our warden, if you will, CG, has finally granted us, is the ability to build a motorized vehicle known as an ATV. This quad offers us quite a bit of relief when trudging around the unforgiving wilderness out here. We have everything from a storage compartment, which is very, very nice. Now, it does require quite a bit of biofuel, and it is extremely difficult to make, folks. This thing is hard. Absolutely difficult. One of the things that you must find yourself doing is very frequently diving below the water into the caves, and where you will also find more hunters in there waiting for you, as they are stationed there to protect the resources within inside the caves. And you must go and find the black glass, or black crystal. Now, black crystal is a resource you definitely want quite a lot of, as it is required in order to make things such as the bolts. Oh, you know what? I think they're actually in the repair unit. Come over here. Yes, we have the advanced mechanical parts, as well as the heavy bolts, which can be crafted from your lathe. Now, the lathe itself is very expensive to build, but you guys can see here the resources required to make this stuff is quite extensive. Specifically, the advanced mechanical parts, there's where your black crystal comes into play. You need many of these parts in order to build the ATV, as well as, unfortunately, a ton of power. While the ATV is under construction, you will be drawing 10 power per second, folks. This environment, as I said, is not for the weak-minded. It is definitely for the devoted, dedicated, and motivated to survive, and to bring a quality of life that you didn't have before in this horrible, horrible prison. I don't see myself ever being able to escape from here. Clearly, the warden has designed the environment to be unbreachable once you reach the fence line. And with, again, the unforgiving neighbors, it makes it quite a challenge to survive in an environment like this. But fret not, for if you have friends that also would like to partake in the extreme challenge of subsistence, you guys can conquer this world together, building together, gathering together, succeeding together in subsistence. As soon as the sun comes up, we will find ourselves traipsing about the jungle and the forest, and we are going to go and visit our neighbors across the way and see if we can gather any valuable resources. But what you will find is that over time, you become into sort of a standstill. Resources will begin to grow immensely. You will find yourself doing nothing other than gathering and gathering and gathering until you have yourself a very significant backstock of supplies that will quite frankly never run out until the next patch or the next update to this glorified prison. But again, with each new challenge comes new responsibilities, and with each new responsibility comes a further motivation to continue to succeed in this very difficult environment. I highly recommend that you give this world a try. You will find that it is far more challenging than just a borderline world of monotony. Make it your own, create an environment in which you must succeed. See if you can handle the challenge, as in the early days of subsistence, it is probably the most difficult, and you will find it very, very difficult to survive. As in the early days, you start with none of this. All of it must be achieved, all of it must be gathered, and it all takes an extreme amount of time. I have found myself here for over a year now. 365 days is what this prison warden has set the current yearly day-to-day to, just as it was outside of the fence line. So now, let us go ahead and begin our day. Come along for the ride and see if you can handle the world of subsistence. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed that little opening there. I thought I'd have a little bit of fun with it this time. We are finally back in Subsistence. I never stopped playing, guys. It's just the videos, you know, I know that the channel is primarily dedicated to flight simulation, but so every now and then I like to throw something a little different into it, and that's what Subsistence is all about. I am also, outside of flight simulation, I'm huge into survival games. I love survival games. The problem with most survival games that I find today is they all include the same thing: zombies or an end of the world apocalypse. And as I was saying in our incredibly theatrical intro there, is that Subsistence definitely offers a completely different type of gameplay. It is difficult, make no mistake, guys. It is extremely hard simulator, and that's because the grind is brutal to get anything. Really, I mean, this is months and months and months and months of work and gathering and storing parts. And I'm not gonna lie, even at times I have cheated and used cheat engine to duplicate items because the grind gets brutal. I will tell you right now, there are those who would disagree with me and say that, oh, how dare you cheat? You should never cheat. Say what you will. We each play it to our own. I will absolutely admit that the grind for resources is ridiculous. It is definitely my least favorite part, as well as I was speaking to earlier, the resource called mass. You must maintain this mass in order to build anything. For example, you can see here it requires 100 mass. This requires 150 mass. Anything over 100 mass, so you have to make these mass storage devices, which will increase your total available mass. Then what you have to do is anything above 100, it will automatically return 100 mass to you once you spend it down below that. But anything above 100, you have to sacrifice either electricity or materials in order to get it. What I mean by that is, as I showed you, we have a power or a mass generator that's currently turned on and running back there. Okay, that's this guy here. Or you can use this guy, and for example, if you take this, scrap it in there, you saw that we lost 10 power and only gained 5 mass. So mass sucks. I'm just going to be blunt. And it doesn't make sense why it exists. I don't understand why it exists. I think it was just another way to throw a resource out there to make it more difficult. And quite frankly, I think the simulator is far difficult enough without the use of mass. So that is definitely one of those areas where, honestly, I have no problem if people, including myself, I don't care, cheat to get it. Water's not as bad. And see, that's the thing, is if it wasn't for mass, honestly, I really have no argument to just about anything else. There's a few other items that can be very, very difficult to get and very frustrating. But if you wait and you're patient enough, you can develop things such as the mining drills here. We can actually take water directly out of the ground, and you get these water bottles. Okay, and so what I'll do typically is one day a week, I'll wait for my electricity to be maxed out, and I'll throw all 3 of these on and let them run an entire day. Usually while I'm working or something like that, I'll have this running in the background. Now, the trick is that while you're doing that, you better watch your nutrients, because just like anything else, you are depleting your resources every moment that you're in the simulator running around, or even standing still. I could sit like this all day long, which is normally what I do, like when I'm at work and I have it running. It's one of the advantages of working from home. And I'll have those 3 mining drills running and just chewing everything up and getting me a ton of water. And the other minerals if necessary. But while that's happening, periodically I have to come in and make sure that that he's not hungry or thirsty. So what we'll do here, for example, I have a bunch of, like I said, home-cooked meals. These are fantastic. They beef up both proteins and vegetables, as well as increase your max health and stamina. Ooh, excuse me, had a yawn sneak up on me. Whereas over here, we'll have a second fridge, and typically what I'll do if I don't want to burn this, because I'm trying to save all the stuff in that one for like when the winters come. When the winters come, everything becomes very, very harsh. It becomes sort of hard to maintain. Now, at the same token, it actually isn't too bad even in that aspect, because what you'll do is during the winter is you'll find yourself using your growth beds in here. Why are you on my house? So it's pretty cool. It really is. Now, with the latest development of Alpha 60, obviously came this guy here, the ATV, which is super freaking awesome. But I am not going to lie to you guys. We had access to the pre-build of Alpha It's something you have to opt in. So you right click on Subsistence in Steam, you go to your properties, you go to betas, opt in, and then there's a password. The password is "it might break," all one word, all lowercase, and then you get the opening for or the access to the pre-alpha 60 build. This thing was nasty. So we've had it for 4 days now, I think, and I just built it this morning. I just finally got it built this morning. Even once you finally get the parts, and black crystal, get a ton of it. I hung out probably for a total of 6 to 8 hours, I think it's close. All in total, not all at once, but in total, I hung out down in those caves. Down by the way, you have to go way down deep where the lava is. And then you can finally start finding some black crystal. The respawn rate sucks. The gather rate isn't terrible. The return rate, meaning that once you take the crystal and you put it into the refineries, the return rate's pretty good. You can get quite a bit, but I was down there, like I said, for hours and hours waiting. And I didn't come back up until I had 2 full stacks of the black crystal, which is about 400 black crystal. It sucked. It was the worst grind that I have seen yet for the simulator. And the only reason why it's the worst grind is because everything else you can find up top. You know, one of the beautiful things about a lot of the other difficult parts to get is, like I said, going after the hunters it's your outlet. It's your easy way to accomplish just about anything. Let me turn the sim sound down a little bit because it's going to get pretty overpowering. There we go. Now, one thing we're supposed to have here is on this, I made oh, there it is. Is it R? Cool. So the one attachment that you can have now is if you guys... Oh, what is going on my screen there? I just realized that like half the screen's cut off. What's going... There we go. Okay. Let me... Well, you guys can't see it, but over there on the right where it says R, that is the remote fob. So, you know what? We need to make sure we have a spare fuel. I do not. So you can make a fob. You do that from the repair center here. It's actually pretty cheap. The batteries aren't bad to buy. What you need a lot of is fuel. So like I said, the batteries aren't particularly hard to build. They're really not. If you've been stocking up on flashlight batteries, you'll be good. It's pretty easy to make the batteries. They don't cost much. They need more than flashlight batteries, but the rest of the materials, like I said, if you've been keeping up on it, you should be fine. Always, guys, make sure that you are staying on top of bringing the animal fat into biofuel. Stay on top of that. I don't ever miss it. Now, one of the things that people were asking about with the quad, the steering is actually pretty easy. You just use the mouse to look around, and then it's the WASD keys to get around. Really not bad. Now, one of the things people are asking about is how to shift it. You can see that on the right-hand side there's a little shift knob. It's your mouse wheel, guys. And I hope this helps a lot of people because that's been a big one. So just... You'll hear it shift forward, and it'll slow down for a second, but give it a minute, and then it'll accelerate. The wolves are afraid of it. Bears are not, and they will F it up. I almost... Like I said, I built the ATV this morning, and I almost had it destroyed already by a bear. Wolves, like I said, they run from it. They're not a concern, but bears are, so be careful. You don't want to get close to a bear with it. Make sure you slow down, you downshift it. It's pretty cool. It really is actually a really neat mechanic. I'm keeping it slow for the moment because we're approaching a hunter camp. So I think we're going to actually just park it here. And there's our hunter camp. I'm going to change to buckshot. There's the fireplace. There he is. Nope, coming at us. Oh, Jesus. A lot of times there's 3 of them, so I want to be careful. I actually meant to make a breach charge. See, especially these weapon parts. It's a killer. I meant to make a breaching charge and I forgot. We may have to go back and do that. Otherwise, it'll take a ton of ammo or whatever we decide to use to break through the door. I even put my hand grenades away. That was dumb. I wish you could fire through. Alright, you know what? Let's go back. Let's make a breaching charge. Yeah, so the ATV is definitely very, very nice. It was a much needed inclusion. And one of the things that I like most about it is that it has a storage compartment. So it allows you to stay out and about much longer. But notice the battery power is already dropping. Oh, be careful. It will throw you off of it, just like you would in real life. You do something dumb, you're going to know it. And then once you get off, it automatically turns it back around. So that part's kind of cool too. All right. It has been a while. Let's see what it takes to make a breach charge. So like there's the battery. See, look, it's not that bad. It's really not. 1 metal, 10 of the electrical components. And if you've been playing it for quite a while, it's not. The 6 batteries is the hardest part, like I said. So if you've been staying up on the flashlight batteries, and even they're not terrible. The potassium, or actually the zinc, I would say, is probably the hardest one to get a hold of, in my opinion. But let's see here. We need the breaching charge. I'm going to take a screenshot of this because it's just easier to do that. And I'm going to set this aside. And let's see here. So we need, coming over here, we need 1 of those. 1 of those. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those. And 80. What am I stuck on? There we go. That was weird. Let's just grab a full stack, I guess. Let's put that over there. Trade places. All right, and let's make a breaching charge. For example, this requires 80 mass. Mass is seriously obnoxious. Oop, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, I grabbed the wrong ones. Oops, I just realized that. My bad. There we go. Boom. All right, let's go put everything else back. I'm going to keep that on me. I actually need to put that in the car. Might as well eat those because we're not going to be able to do anything with them. And speaking of potassium ore, like I said, the hunters are a great source of resources. They are probably the fastest way to progress. I'm not going to lie. They are the fastest way to progress in this simulator, is going after the hunters. It can be very frustrating, but once you get through it and start figuring out how to beat them, it definitely increases the speed dramatically. You can get some very nice things from the hunters. So, all right. Let's open the garage. Close the garage. Off we go again. Ooh. Keeping that wheel to the right. Keeping the wheel to the right. Keeping the wheel to the right. Ah, there we go. Whew. That was scary. I thought we were going to lose it already. I have no idea what happens if you throw this thing in the water, so I wouldn't try it. It definitely is not something I would go out of my way to try. I find the second gear to be the best one to just sort of hang out in. Third gear, what happens is you start going so fast that, like I said, if you hit a rock or something, or just the right angle on a cliff, it will literally throw you off and hurt you. Alright, let's get back to work here. Love how he just happened to see me through all that smoke. Thank you. You don't really need any of that, but like, see what I mean? Like, you can get anything from them. All this. This is how I stockpile all this stuff. Look at this. Glass, 45 nails, 15 wood. This is where all that stuff in my storage came from. It's from going after these guys. I just realized I had an unarmed gun. And then there's even a bigger thing that we can build called the BCU cracker, which we could destroy this guy right here. And then you get some very serious stuff. It takes a while. Maybe we'll go build one. Let's go show you guys that too. Why not? Let's just ruin these guys' day all around. I know I've got more than enough materials to do this. Let's go build a BCU cracker. I honestly, like, there are times I feel bad when I build the BCU cracker because it really is messed up, man. Like, it ruins their base. Their base is toast at that point. We're going to have to add a plank over here to my bridge. Come on, man. There it is. That's how we did it. There we go. Don't do it again. Yeah, I really like the ATV. This thing's handy. Okay, so the BCU cracker. We're just going to ruin these guys' days. Now, this is pretty epic to build. This one's a little bit on the tougher side. 2,500 electricity, 400 mass, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So, let me grab this. Look at that. It even says wiping out hunters' bases. All right, so we're going to open that up. I had to take a screenshot of it, and let's see what we need here. So, coming over here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And 6. Is that what it said? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 40 crystal. Oh, I need 30 of the gears. So we're just going to grab a full stack. And how many crystals? 40, yeah. So they are expensive as all hell to build. But I'll show you guys some really awesome stuff that you get once you do it. The lathe is kind of cool to watch. I wish it showed the individual construction. Alright, there it is, guys. We are so going to ruin their day. This, like, feeling kind of guilty. Okay, is that everything? I think that's everything. Alright, off we go. And you can notice that this thing also takes damage just driving around. Now, it could have been from us slamming into the thing. I'm not sure. But it does require maintenance. And that's kind of a pain in the ass, I'm not going to lie. So let's do this. Fill it back up with gas. I like the garage door opener. Alright, let's go into second gear. The other thing, it does have headlights, but man, they chew up a lot of battery power very quickly. Very quickly. Okay, this bear is actually becoming very obnoxious. Damn it. Now, it has been a minute, so we're going to have to be careful as we approach the base this time. Because they may be back. Alright, you ready for utter destruction here, guys? This is insane. Let's get out of here. Look at this. And it's going to go off for a while. This takes a minute. I think it's done now. Yeah, it is. Alright, so then we come down. And there's going to be a chest. Now, you have to have one of your keys on you to open it. There he is. Gosh darn it. There's one. Dude, if he had hit me one more time, that would have been the end of it. Man. We got lucky. I got really lucky on that one. Phew. Now we need to remember there was 3 of them. Was there 3 of them? Maybe there was only 2 of them. No, there was 3 of them. Alright, anyway, so we're going to find one of these crates, and you'll always get a ton of very awesome stuff in them. Whew. Alright. And like I said, battling them can be a real pain in the butt, because they don't suck.
What did we come out with? Tomato seeds. This was actually kind of a crappy delivery, honestly. Normally I get better stuff than this. The fish oil's nice, though. Yeah, this wasn't one of the good ones, unfortunately. A lot of times you get larger stacks of a bunch of other cool crap, but that's alright. Let's get out of here before I get in any more trouble. Oh! What did I tell you? Damn it. Caught the stupid tree. If that bear's here still, we're going to take him out. Yep. Them bears don't mess around, man. Cover your eyes, get gory. Yeah. Alright. Let's go wash our hands while we're here. Let's get the bike back home. While we're here and I have the parts, I think, we're going to extend our bridge. I should make 2 of those. There's another hunter camp right there. There we go. Let's put this guy here. And I think I'm going to put the other one, for the moment, we'll probably make more later. But I want to put the other one right there. That way we have a room to turn it without almost falling off every time. Probably should make one more right next to it. Ah, man. Oh, I got lucky. But look what it did. See? Ah, that's exactly what happened last time. I didn't even know he was there. Damn bear. That sucked. You guys are going to see why in a second. Repairing this thing is expensive, requires electricity, requires a ton of resources. It's exactly what happened earlier. Came around a corner and hit a bear in the face. So check this out. So at this point, oh, here. Close the garage. We're going to come here. And it requires the mechanical parts and the bolts. We're going to hit repair. It's also using electricity. Power per second is 2. So we're losing electricity. You can see it's actually chewing it down here. And it is not fast to repair. Like if you watch the repair speed, 119. There's 120. It takes a long time. So what I would recommend is if you're going to be in a position where you have to do that, take your biofuel, get your generators rolling. Hopefully you've got a few of them. I don't use them often, but in situations like this, especially at night, is where they come in very handy. And then flip them on. The only reason why I turn them all on at the exact same time is just makes it easier to manage the fuel. You know where they're all at. If one runs out, they all run out. Let that crank up a bit. That way you can keep the mass generator going. Now I don't think repairing costs any mass, which is nice. But let's start putting some stuff away here. Let's see what we got. And see, this is how I collected most of this stuff, guys. Like, look at that. We came back with 55 nails. I didn't have any nails in my bags when we left the house. 55 nails. We got 6 logs. I'm not going to worry about the logs. We got plenty of wood. We got wood coming out the wazoo. Cordage. We had a bunch, but we made those 2 planks.
Usually I come back with more electrical components. So normally when I raid them, I will drive, or in this case, run around today, because today's my first day with the ATV. But I will run around, and typically I'm gone from the house for about 2 days. And I will just go and start taking them out one by one. And I won't use the BCU cracker. That thing is so expensive to make. So it's pretty rare that I actually use that. But everything else, I mean, most of these materials I get from the hunters. So once you get yourself in a position, like you guys saw earlier in the video, we put some of the potassium in there. Once you get yourself in a position to start, essentially attacking them, and you can, in the settings at the start of the menu, when you first create your game, you can decide how you want the hunters to behave. Do you want them to attack periodically? Do you want them to never attack? Or do you want them to only revenge attack? I believe mine are set to revenge attack, so they may actually come back after me at some point. But if they do, it's sort of like a bring it on situation. But like all this stuff, we didn't have any when we left the house. And I mean, there's 15. This stuff's a pain in the ass to get, especially the fish oil. Well, I guess not a pain in the ass, but it takes a long time to get both of these together to make these. So it's really not a hard sim once you figure out the ins and outs. Ammunition especially. Almost all of this ammunition was gathered from them. I spend a lot of time going after the hunters. I've died a lot of times. I'm not the particularly greatest shot in this sim. But, I mean, I dust myself off. I get back out and I go after them again until I reach a point where I want. I just realized I don't have any leg braces on me. Let's grab a couple of those just in case anything ever breaks. Alright, so let's do like this. That's normally how I keep my top line. Fuel, let's grab another thing of biofuel here. And what I'm going to do with this is actually put it down in the storage compartment. I don't even know if I can access it. Can I? Yes, I can. Alright, we'll put that in there. I also need to put another battery in there. I just thought about that. So let's grab that. We're going to put a battery in there. Just in case we ever need it. I have to make the jump start kit. I haven't been in a position where I've needed one yet. This is typically how I end the days. Ah, damn it. I didn't catch those eggs fast enough. They're almost gone. Let me see if I can get them to the fridge before they die. Ah, go. Come on, let me out, let me out, let me out, let me out. Wrong one. Never take one that's almost dead and put it on something that isn't. Okay? You will regret that because, like, for example, if I were to put these on here, I mean, they're full stack, so I don't have to worry about that. But if I were to do so, what would happen is the health of these would drop to match these. Sucks. So I typically take, like, that's how this happened. I was so bummed out. This was like a stack of like 88 some eggs that were in pristine condition. It really pissed me off. But it happens. It happens. Once you get them in the fridge, they don't really have any issues, so... did I check this? How is this out of food and water already? Huh. Let's go grab a stack of tomatoes. They love tomatoes. Tomatoes seem to work really well. And it doesn't take a full stack. Let's grab a stack of water. I actually need some for me too, so it works out. So like I said, typically about once a week, I'll turn the mining drills on and get a whole bunch of water going. And that usually lasts me about a week of playing. I play almost every day. But like the tomatoes work great for food. Also add a little bit of water, and then just like typically it's 3 of those. And boom, you're maxed out. So there. And obviously you have the animal feces. That's fertilizer. I used to use the ash for fertilizer. I don't anymore. But I used to use a bunch of that. And then usually, I don't know, once every couple of weeks at the rate that I build them, I will load up the planters. So it's not something you have to manage every single day if you get large enough. But each section is something that you have to start managing consistently, again, when you get large enough. So it's really a trade-off. Do you want a small environment that needs to be managed every day, or a large environment that you have to manage sections of it every day? So it really depends on what you're doing.
But anyways, guys, I truly hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I would like to bring Subsistence back to the channel, so hopefully we'll see a few more of these types of videos. But as always, guys, you know what to do. Let me know how you feel about everything down in the comments below. Stay safe and healthy, and I will see you in the next one.